Little things you only recognize as red flags when it's already too late. Hannah and Tyler had always gotten along. Nothing weird. They joked, they teased each other, but so did most of our friends. I never connected anything suspicious to it. I mean, come on, he was my best friend of more than 10 years. She was the woman I pictured a future with. There was no part of me that believed they could cross that line. Not even close. And maybe that's why I missed everything. Because I wasn't looking for betrayal where I saw comfort. Things shifted so naturally I barely noticed. Hannah started working out with Tyler because it's more motivating together. She'd come home talking about their routines, their progress, their inside jokes I wasn't part of. And yeah, sometimes she'd smile at her phone like she was reading something hilarious. She always said, just a stupid meme Tyler sent. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? When you love someone, trust is automatic. You don't analyze every look or laugh. You just assume you're safe. And that assumption is what killed me. The first time I felt something was wrong was stupidly simple. I walked into the kitchen and saw her texting. She didn't hide the phone, but she locked the screen so fast it almost felt rehearsed. I asked who it was, and she answered too quickly, "Oh, just Sarah from work," except later that day I saw a preview pop up. It wasn't Sarah, it was Tyler. Something inside me shifted, then a small crack I tried to ignore. I told myself I was overthinking. That paranoia wasn't love, but sometimes paranoia is the truth trying to warn you. The night everything snapped started with one simple lie. Hannah said she was going to a late team meeting. Tyler told me he was staying in because he was tired. Neither felt suspicious alone, but something inside me twisted. A weird instinct I couldn't shake. So I checked her location. I know invasion of privacy, but sometimes pain pushes you into places you never thought you'd go. She wasn't at her office, and Tyler's phone was active in the same area. A hotel. My hands started shaking. My breath got shallow. I already knew. I drove without feeling my hands on the wheel. The city lights were blurry, like my brain didn't want to process what was happening. All I could hear was my heartbeat slamming against my ears. I kept telling myself I was wrong, that I'd find them at a restaurant or grabbing a drink with co-workers or literally anywhere else. But every turn I took made the truth louder, screaming inside my head. When I pulled into the hotel parking lot and saw both their cars, a part of me died right there. I walked down the hallway like I was underwater. Every step felt heavy. Every breath hurt. When I reached the door, I didn't knock. I don't know why. I guess I needed to see the truth without giving them time to hide it. The moment I pushed the door open, I heard Hannah laugh the laugh she used to save for me. Then silence. Then a gasp. I saw them on the couch, not even scrambling, not even shocked enough. That's how I knew this wasn't the first time. It was routine, familiar, practiced. They froze like statues. Hannah's face went pale. Tyler looked like he wanted to disappear. Mason, she started, but I lifted my hand to stop her. I didn't want excuses. I didn't want explanations. I didn't want lies wrapped in apologies. How long? Was all I asked. She didn't answer. Tyler did. A few months. He whispered it, but it felt like he screamed it. Everything I had trust, years of friendship, love shattered in one sentence. And somehow, the worst part wasn't the cheating. It was realizing they had been choosing each other over me for months. I walked out, didn't yell, didn't break anything, didn't threaten anyone. I just left. When pain is that deep, your body goes numb. The world outside felt too quiet, like reality wasn't ready to deal with me. The next days were a blur. Hannah tried calling. Tyler sent paragraphs I didn't read. Friends asked what happened, but I couldn't tell the story without feeling like I was talking about someone else's life. But nights were the worst. That's when your brain replays everything you missed. Every sign, every lie, every moment they were together while you were blind. Healing didn't come fast, or clean, or steady. Some days I hated them. Some days I hated myself for not seeing it sooner. But eventually, the anger got tired. The heartbreak burned out. And what stayed was clarity. They didn't betray me because I wasn't enough. They betrayed me because they weren't enough, not honest enough, not loyal enough, not brave enough to choose truth over temptation. And as much as it hurt, losing them was the best thing that could have happened. Sometimes life breaks you just to remove the people who were holding you back. A week after everything fell apart, I did something I'm not proud of. I opened Hannah's old tablet. She'd left it behind, maybe on purpose, maybe by accident, I still don't know. It synced with her phone, and suddenly I had access to every message they ever sent each other. I wasn't looking to torture myself. I just needed to know the full truth. And what I found hurt more than the night at the hotel. The flirtation started way earlier than I thought. Months of small compliments. Inside jokes about me. Plans to talk in person. Her saying things like, "I wish you understood me the way he does," and him saying, "You deserve better." Reading those texts felt like reliving the betrayal in slow motion. But at least now I knew they didn't slip. They built their betrayal message by message, lie by lie. When something like this happens, your whole social circle fractures. Some friends were furious at Hannah and Tyler. Others told me to let it go or not make drama. Those people didn't stay in my life very long. The ones who mattered stepped up. My friend Daniel drove to my place at AM without asking questions. My coworker Emily brought dinner for a week straight. My sister sat with me every night just so I wouldn't feel alone in my own house. You learn a lot about people when your life falls apart. Some disappear, some pretend nothing happened, and some quietly hold you together when you're too numb to hold yourself. That's when I realized losing 2 people who betrayed me was nothing compared to the people who showed me real loyalty. 3 weeks later, Tyler showed up again. I didn't want to open the door, but I did. He looked like hell, unshaven, shaking, eyes swollen. He said they weren't together anymore. Apparently the guilt got to them, or maybe they realized the fantasy only lived in secret. He said, "I ruined everything. Not just your relationship, but our entire history, and the thing is, he was right. I didn't forgive him, but I listened." He talked about loneliness, emotional confusion, whatever excuses he came up with to justify the unjustifiable. But deep down, I knew he wasn't asking for forgiveness. He was asking for permission to stop feeling guilty. I didn't give him that. A few days later, Hannah finally asked to meet. Not to get back together, she knew that chapter was done, but to explain. She told me she never planned to fall for him, that it just happened. Then she admitted the truth. She'd been unhappy for months, but didn't know how to talk to me about it. I asked, and cheating was easier? She didn't answer, just cried. She said Tyler made her feel heard, that he gave her attention she didn't know how to ask me for. All I could think was that attention wasn't real, it was stolen. They shared something built on lies, secrecy, guilt. And that's not love, that's escapism. When she left, I felt lighter. Not because I forgave her, but because her explanation made one thing clear: her betrayal wasn't about me. It was about who she really was. One night I was lying in bed, fully awake at AM, staring at the ceiling. It hit me out of nowhere. I hadn't lost the love of my life. I lost a version of her I invented. The real Hannah wasn't loyal. The real Tyler wasn't a brother. The real relationship we had wasn't as strong as I believed. And for the first time, that realization didn't break me. It freed me, because you can't rebuild your life until you stop grieving the one you imagined. That night was the first time I slept through till morning. Healing wasn't a straight line. It came in waves. I started going to the gym again, eating better, seeing my friends more, picking up hobbies I dropped because I was always trying to fix us. Slowly, I started feeling like myself again, the version of me that existed before betrayal reshaped my world. At some point, people began saying, "You look happier, you seem lighter, you're doing better," and for once, they were right. I wasn't just recovering, I was rebuilding. Healing sounds simple until you're alone with your thoughts. Every night around 2 AM, the same questions circled my mind like vultures. Did she ever love me? Did he ever value our friendship? What did I miss? Was I not enough? When did I lose them? It wasn't the cheating that haunted me most, it was the betrayal of trust. The thought of them laughing together after lying to me, texting each other while I stood in the same room, planning their excuses, that part kept me awake. And the worst question, the one that hurt the most, were they laughing at me the whole time? Word eventually got out. Friends I hadn't spoken to in months reached out. Some said, "Man, I'm so sorry." Others said, "I had a feeling something was going on, but I didn't want to interfere." That hurt more than I want to admit. My so-called friend group split into 3, those who supported me, those who quietly supported them, and those who pretended nothing happened. And of course, there were the whispers, the people who said maybe I pushed her away, or maybe I should have been a better boyfriend. Funny how everyone becomes an expert when it's not their heart on the floor. But that's how betrayal works. It spreads through a social circle like smoke, blinding everyone in its path. One evening, weeks after everything fell apart, I got a message from a number I didn't recognize. "Hey, I don't want to stir anything up, but I thought you should know Hannah and Tyler aren't together anymore. They fought a lot about what they did to you." I stared at the text for a long time. It didn't bring me joy. It didn't bring me closure. It didn't change anything. If anything, it made everything clearer. They didn't stay together because what they had wasn't real. It was built on lies, guilt, secrecy, and those things don't survive in the light. The message ended with, "I know this doesn't fix anything, but I just wanted you to know you weren't the problem." I didn't reply, but for the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe a little easier. Healing is slow. But one morning I woke up and noticed something strange. I didn't think about them. Not immediately. Not painfully. Not at all. I made coffee, opened the window, and for the first time since everything happened, the world didn't feel heavy. I realized I had spent so long drowning in heartbreak I hadn't noticed myself learning how to swim again. That day I went for a walk, bought myself breakfast, even smiled at a stranger. Not because everything was fixed, but because I finally understood something. Their betrayal wasn't the end of my story. It was the end of theirs in my life, and that realization felt like freedom. Looking back now, I don't recognize the version of me who stood in that hotel hallway, heartbroken, shaking, asking how long. I'm stronger now, not harder, not colder, just stronger. I learned boundaries. I learned self-respect. I learned that loyalty is rare, and when you give it to the wrong people, they turn it into a weapon. But here's the part that matters most. I'm not afraid to love again. Not because I forgot what happened, but because I survived it. And one day, someone will choose me with honesty, with loyalty, with the kind of love that doesn't need secrets to survive. When that day comes, I'll be ready. Because the boy who was betrayed is gone, and the man who stands here now is nothing to the people who broke him.